name is Quentin Dexter. I'm originally from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and I still make my home in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. I brought in a ceremonial jacket, gloves that go along with it, and some military badges and medals from the Marine Corps from the Second World War. The items belong to my great uncle Thomas Dexter. He was a Marine that fought in the Pacific. And there is his ceremonial jacket, his medals. He died in May of 1943. These things got passed on to his brother and they ended up in my possession.
Since 1775, the United States Marine Corps has been America's premier crisis response force and had already accumulated over 150 years of frontline experience when the US declared war on Japan in 1941. The USMC entered the conflict with the reputation as the first to fight, earned for its tenacious performance in the Great War. Though a small portion of its 600,000 members engaged in other theatres, the vast majority landed in the Pacific. There, they would play a central role in securing the Allied victory. Nearly 10 years after the German surrender, the US Marine Corps War Memorial was unveiled in Arlington County, Virginia. Based on a Pulitzer Prize-winning photo raising the flag on Iwo Jima, it is dedicated to the history of sacrifices made by its fallen members.
So, Quentin, welcome to Militaria.
Thanks.
And I was wondering if you could take a moment and tell us what you brought in.
I brought in some medals that belonged, I believe, to my great uncle Tom from the Second World War. He was a warrant officer in the Marine Corps, and a ceremonial, I understand, coat and gloves.
And your great uncle Tom was from Yarmouth, I understand.
He was from Quinn and Yarmouth County, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, what makes this a little unique for this show is that although he's Canadian, he was serving with the United States Marine Corps.
Correct.
Right. And he went down and he joined at an early age,
Yes.
in the 20s, which was a little unusual. Do you know why?
I know he was in Halifax for some reason, because I have a postcard he sent to his mother 4 weeks after the Halifax explosion. And on the postcard, he says that he's going to New Jersey.
Right.
So why? I don't know.
Right. So what you brought in, as you said, was the ceremonial uniform for the United States Marine Corps. And on this, he has the rank of gunnery sergeant, which would be like a platoon sergeant for the unit he was with. He was with the artillery. So he wasn't an infantry soldier, which the majority of the Marine Corps was. He was artillery, which supported the infantry vet. He also has 4 good conduct stripes on his sleeve, which would indicate 16 years of service plus, as you get one for every 4 years. And as you said, when he died, he was a warrant officer. This is not the uniform that he would have worn. This was probably an extra one. And when he was made a warrant officer, he would have had to get a new uniform. And thus, what happened to that one, we don't know.
No.
But, he would have just packed this up, and that's probably how it made it home. So, Quentin, what can you tell us about your Uncle Tom?
There was a lot of back and forth with the Dexter family. His older brother actually died fighting for Canada in the First World War, and his younger brother moved to the States, and I think that's where Tom made the connection to go down to the States, because his younger brother, my grandfather, had moved to the States, and I think that might have something to do with him going in that direction.
Did he serve at all?
No, he, whether you call it luck or not, he was too young for the First World War and too old for the Second World War. He was born in 1907, so he's quite a bit younger than Tom. We don't really have a date on Tom's birth. Jim, his older brother, was born in 1894. We believe Tom was born in 97 or 98, 1897 or 1898, but I don't have any records of it.
Putting him in his mid-20s when he decided that he wanted to join the Marine Corps, and could have been that things he had tried with his life just wasn't working for him, and he decided that this was going to be what he wanted to do. And he obviously enjoyed what he was doing because he was successful at it, and he stayed in, as opposed to just doing a 4-year enlistment or 3-year and saying, okay, well, that's too much for me.
What you said just from the jacket, he stayed in for, I wasn't quite sure how long he was in, but I knew it was more than a couple of years for sure.
Well, exactly. And the other interesting thing for me is just that, there's at least 16 years of good conduct on that uniform, which meant he didn't get into any trouble either, which is unusual for young soldiers.
It's unusual for Dexters.
Right. Do you have any idea, has anyone done any research on his service or where they believe that he served?
I've been the only one that I know of. I mean, everybody's basically gone from the family. I know I've done what I can, and I've basically I haven't found a lot besides the grave marker that he was in the Pacific and that he was a warrant officer. There's not a lot of information out available.
Right. So Quentin, your Uncle Tom, as we talked about, was in the Marine Corps and was serving at the beginning of the war, and he was someplace in the Pacific, and unfortunately and died as a result of his service, but he wasn't killed in action. He wasn't wounded in action. I was wondering if you can go into what you know about his service there.
I just know that he served in the Pacific. Him and a bunch of other guys got put on some R&R somewhere in Southeast Asia, and he contracted malaria. And he was there for about a week or so, I believe, and he was sent back to Oakland, California, where he actually died from malaria on the 11th of May, 1943. He was in the Philippines.
Right.
That much I was told.
And of course, the conditions in the Philippines weren't the greatest, so he wouldn't have been in the best physical condition when he contracted malaria. So he wouldn't have been in a really great position to fight it off that well, and
Right.
Could be why he succumbed to, even though they managed to get him.
Yeah, they got him
Oakland.
back to Oakland, but my understanding, he wasn't there very long before he passed.
What are your plans? Like, I get the impression that you want to continue to delve into his life and find out more of the story, and you believe there might be other artifacts out there for you to find and may help you with your quest.
I'm definitely going to continue to do some more research. I do have an interest in it, just for family purposes. I know there's the flag that was on his coffin. I know where that is, and that's going to be coming into my possession. I'm not quite sure if the sword is there or not, and there may be some other paraphernalia to go along with it. So I'm hoping within the next couple of months to make a trip to pick up the flag and see what else is there. And then, as you said, I'll now probably reach out to the Navy and see if I can get a service record and just try to wrap this up with a nice neat little bow and get some answers.
Yeah, so Quentin, thank you so much for bringing this in.
Glad
It's
to be
been
here.
a
Thank you.
wonderful opportunity to look at some American material we normally don't.
Perfect.